Okay, today I wanted to show you how to use the digital adjustable frame that I'm going to be placing into the file section on the club website, the Facebook site, I'm sorry. Uh, so this is the frame here. It's a PSD, and if you don't over save it with, if you don't ruin it, then when you open it, it comes up with all of these characteristics over here. The cover overlay, you can double click it and you can change the color of that to anything you want to, uh, and you can change the for example the stroke, that is the black part. You can change that color to white if you want to, um, and so I just wanted to show you that these things will all be preserved for you to do whatever you need to do to it, and so that you can tailor it to whatever your own needs are. But it's an adjustable frame. It doesn't matter what size it is now. But the process is to you can go ahead and make your color changes to the frame and the middle part if you want to, or the texture. This pattern overlay is here. If you wanted to choose a different pattern, you could do so here. I'm not going to go through that because that would just make this too long. So what we want to do first, you decide what size frame you wish to use. For example, if you're going to be using one of the pre-made mounts, as we're worked with in one of the SIGs recently on mounting your photos, 11.5 by 14 or 8 by 10. Let's just say this is an 8 by 10, and 11 by, let's say 11 by 14. So what you want to do is, okay, if you decide 11 by 14, now we're going to size this frame to 11 by 14 before you put a picture in it. The reason being, if you put a picture in it now, then you size it up, you run the risk of pixelating or causing some other problem. I don't know what you'd run into, but I'm just saying, let's do it this way first. Size it correctly, then put your picture in it. So let's size it. Go to image, image size, and what we're going to do is the width will be 14, the height will be 11, and leave everything else 300 and so forth. So leave that be. So it's going to come up, render it. Then to be able to see the whole thing, hit Control 0. That'll bring you back so you can see the whole frame. Now we are 11 by 14. Now we can go to get our picture. So let's go to File, Open, and pick a go to wherever your photos are, and just pick a random picture. Let's go to flowers maybe, and let's pick something like well, these are all different sizes, so let's pick, looking for a kind of a horizontal look to it. Okay, there you go. Okay, so this picture's going to load. It's going to pop up there. Comes up in, obviously, in whatever you call Adobe, whatever. So there it is. So we got the picture here. So our frame is here. Picture's here. Click on the picture, and now we're going to click on the Move tool. Click and hold your mouse down. Drag up to the frame. Drag it back down and let go. So what this does, it places it on there. Let's hold the Shift key down, and we're going to just drag it out to the point to where we like it. So obviously this is not the same ratio as 11 by 14, but I'm not going to go into what you can do. But if you pull it around, you see the magenta stripes come out automatically when you're exactly centered. So let it go. Click OK or click the check mark there, and now you've got your picture stuck in the frame. All right, we need to put something here because it doesn't look like a frame, because this is supposed to be matte and this is supposed to be the picture under the mat. So we need to put a stroke in here. So on this layer, for the one that we just put in, double click, look for stroke. There's stroke. Click it. Now what we want to do is look at the size. Now this is way too big, so all we got to do is pull the size down to something we can work with. Something like that might work. So what's that, 32? Let's go to 25 or 24. And the color is black. Clearly you can change that. Double click it. You can pick any of the colors up and down here that you want, or even better, why not go outside this and you see the little picker comes up. If you hold the Alt key down, let's just pick a part of the picture pick a color that's in part of the picture. So it'll be kind of tailor-made to that. And I'll say OK to that. Now, once we get that, we can change the opacity. If it looks a little too bright, we can pull it back down a bit. For the bevel, click the bevel, and it's a little hard to see, but the size needs to be kind of the same size as you can see. It's not the same size. You can see it here, and because where's the opacity? Well, anyway, it's the depth needs to be the size needs to be the same size as the stroke was, and once you get it there, you can kind of see the actual bevel. You can play with this a little bit. I'm not sure what depth means, but it does look like it makes it more visible. But anyway, so there you go, and so we'll say OK to that. Now what we want to do is we want to put a shadow in here to simulate the depth or the height of the mat. So double click on here again, and we want to go to inner glow, and let's pick something. It's picked that. Let's go to less dark, and a size. Again, we want to look at the size that's the same size as what we is appropriate for this. Pull it down to right about there. It's still too dark. We'll just pull the opacity down. And also this thing called choke. Think of that as more of a feathering tool. Okay, you can kind of feather it. And let's pull that aside and see what it looks like. It looks okay. And that's pretty much it. We'll say OK to that. If we move back down to this original layer, let's say we wanted to do something about this color here. So we'll go to the color overlay, double click it, and that's the color. Again, we can come back with maybe one of these colors. If I hold the Alt key down and click there, maybe that's a bit bright. Let's click here. That's a little more like it. Say OK. But I'm just trying to show you that I'm not trying to make a finished image. I'm trying to show you that all these things are changeable, including, for example, let's look at the stroke. We've got it in a black frame. Let's look at the stroke. Double click the stroke, and here's the color. Oh, why not make it a white frame? Very cool. Very, very cool. There you go. Or some other color of your whatever you want. So it is totally and completely 100% changeable to your own whim. Again, you have the ability to just go to your color picker and pick a green frame, or pick, gosh, whatever you want to. But I'm just suggesting that these are very cool things to do, play with. Say OK. Once you get it, we have an 11 by a 14-inch frame. So we would save it. Just go File, Save As, and then let me just go to my desktop, and I've got one over there that I played around with a little earlier. And save it as a JPEG, and let's say flower with a frame, and say save it. So now we have this frame saved. What we want to do is, those of you who have printers and comfortable printing this off, then you can check out now. But those of you who are going to send this out to, let's say, Sam's, for example, then what you want to do is to put it on a size larger base, because they're never going to print it out so that it's correct size. It's just a matter that their printers cannot go to the edge and print a exact sized print, dimensionally accurate. If you've got a mount that you're going to put it on, then you're going to want to have an exacting size mount after you cut it out. So we're going to put this one, this is 11 by 14. The next size up is 12 by 16. So the way to do that is go to File, New, and we're going to go to a new file, and we're going to go to, let's go to inches, and the width is going to be 16, but we don't want 16 because we want to leave an 1/8 inch at either side, so we'll make it 15.75, and the height would be normally 12, so we'll make it 11.75. So we'll go 15.75, meaning it's almost 16 and almost 12. So resolution, I don't know why I did that. Let's go 300, and let's kick it up to 16. There is no real reason for this, just to match the underlying flower in the frame. That's all 16-bit. So once we did that, we got basically 12 by 16, and we'll say OK. Here's our the page that we're going to be sending. Obviously, not a whole lot of detail there. So we're going to go, we're going to go to this frame here. Take your Move tool, click, drag it up to here, pull it back down, let her go. Go ahead and pull it up and sort of center it. Why do we not get the whole thing? Oh, I see. I didn't collapse that. Okay. So let me go back here. Okay, so what we need to do on the mat here is we need to go ahead and collapse it. We need to go to Layer. We need to flatten it. Layer, Flatten Image. So now this is all one layer. What it did before is it didn't take both layers. It only took one layer. So flatten your image and then save it off. Made a mistake. Flatten your image, then save it off. That's just to be safe. You don't have to do this, but you do have to flatten it before you put it onto the white label. But so now that's saved. I'm going to go to my Move tool. I'm going to grab it, hold the mouse button down, drag it up to here, drag it back down, let her go. Move it to center it, and we're looking for those purple magenta lines that tell us when we're just about centered. Where are your lines? There's one, and the other one will pop up there. Now I'm exactly dead centered, and we have our basic picture on top of an almost 12 by 16. We've got 11.75 by 15.75 white background, and when you get it back from the from Sam's, or wherever you're going to send it, then you'll want to cut along this line with scissors or whatever you've got to cut it with. But we'll just File. Wait a minute. Let's go ahead and flatten this also. So we'll go to Layer, Flatten Image, and so now we have one layer. We'll go ahead and File, and we'll save as, and change it to JPEG, and let's go, just to save myself some typing, go to that, and we'll say Flower with Frame Print dot whatever. Say Save, Yes, and say OK. So we are ready to go. You can send that one to Sam's, get it back, cut it out, get your frame, mount it proudly on your walls. So that's it. I hope this helps you, and I'll be placing a little bit of a description to accompany this, and I'll place it in the file section of the club Facebook Facebook page, and there's a file section, and I'll put the PSD, the adjustable PSD, and a little bit of a sheet that goes with it. But hopefully this video might be able to help you. Thank you very much. Bye.